Well, sometimes, yeah, we have to take a step back and reassess, you know, our rules and things and what we did to make that
Yeah,
a mistake. But I think you were telling us a little bit about it that you did spiral out.
yeah, yeah. I didn't. I kind of do that. Things were going pretty well at the start. I'd almost doubled my account, and yeah, I don't know. Things just kind of went south, and then I tried to hedge. I think that was the worst thing. And then I tried to take a trade on oil, and I forgot just how big, yeah, how much oil moves. That kind of just, I took a sell, and it was, do you know what it was? It was that day the OPEC countries said they were going to cut production, so oil went up.
Mm.
That didn't, so that didn't help. Yep, that, yeah. So that kind of got me a bit too. I think it was kind of that last sharp up retrace that got me.
What day was this?
When was that? That was like Wednesday or Thursday. I can't remember what
Gotcha.
day it was. It was one of them. It was like Wednesday or Thursday. There was like a spike or something.
Oh, okay. Hmm. And were you trading London or New York that day?
I wasn't really. I think I took that trade early New York or something. I think. I think
Okay.
well, yeah, it was around lunchtime my time, so it must have been just around the New York Open.
And when you're getting into when you're getting into, can y'all see my screen?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Somebody just said share recording, but I don't know what they mean. I do have a, let me see something real quick. But as I was saying, when you're getting into your swing trades, like how long are you holding normally?
it could be a few weeks.
So when you enter a trade, you plan on hold that's like your plan. You kind of plan on holding for a few weeks for it to
Yeah.
go. Like, what do you have, like a pip amount that you're trying to reach, or a area? What, how does that work for you?
No, I generally will just I'll enter it and I'll try to keep like scaling in as it goes along, just adding and adding. I know eventually I'm gonna get stopped out anyway, so like I'll just go until I keep adding until I get stopped out, sort of thing. I seen that somewhere and I thought that sounded like quite a good one because I wanted something that was gonna help scale that was gonna help get the account going up because the way I was going is just taking a little bit. It was kind of one step forward and about two steps back. I was just kind of going for maybe like 100 pips and then just sort of stopping it. And then like sometimes I would see the trend keep going on more and then I would get annoyed with myself for taking it out too early and missing out on all the extra pips. So I guess yeah, I need to sort of get a plan for something like that. Like how many pips should I go for each trade or something, or like a certain R rate for each trade or something.
Right, because when you say that you normally plan on getting stopped out, like that doesn't sound like a goal, like you're trying to reach, or like you just sounds like you're all over the place.
Yeah, no, it's mean like I'll scale in, but like trail my stops as I'm scaling in. As I do another entry, I can trail my other stop losses down to that. So like I know if I get stopped out, I get stopped out in one trade, but I'd have the other ones that would sort of make up the loss, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. And how to, because you told me that you learned how to swing trade on your own. Like, how does that work when you are trailing a stop loss on a swing trade?
Well, I would just look for like the highs and lows or something, and just trail it there. If it creates a new high and then breaks it or something on a buy, I would just trail it below the low or something.
All right, I'm looking at the 4 hour on oil. Did it happen to be this candle that took you out, or you don't know?
Yeah, I think that was the one. That was it.
Okay.
Yep, that was it.
All right. Yeah, that's just my guess because it does look a bit extreme. Especially if like some news happened and
Yeah, yeah, that was it. The very one.
sorry, my kids, they are up. Okay. But yeah, that does look like that could have been something that affected your account if you were swinging it and you say you were selling it and it went up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in the cell, and yeah, it just came back up on me and just took me out.
With this being a swing trade, where would your stop loss be? Or did you like get in the sale? Do you think you got in the sale too late?
Yeah, I think I may have gotten it a bit too late in that one. I seen it going down, and like I entered, I knew it was gonna like, oh, that was gonna go. Was not expecting that to shoot back up there like that, but
Y'all give me a second. I need to put my kids downstairs. 1 second, okay?
yeah.
All right, I'm back.
Right. True.
All right, let me turn this off because that's gonna bug me. I just had that for the timer. All right. So with that being said, what where do you want to start, Carlin? Because it's hard for
That
me
is
to
a
like
question.
because it's not my style of trading, it's kind of hard for me to like.
Yeah. I guess I think maybe like rules. I think if I had sort of sat, I need to be a bit more strict with myself. I think that's kind of if I did that, I might be all right. I maybe wouldn't have jumped in a bit too late on the oil trade. Maybe.
Can you tell me where you jumped in at?
Yeah. It was. You see, what was it? Yes. You see that little low there? See the low where the from the like supply there on the move.
What price area? Is it like
Right, I'm trying. I wish I could annotate. Right, you see, you've got that M in the middle of them. See that up. Right,
is it over here? This
where is it?
M? This
No,
M?
down.
Oh,
No,
M or W?
M.
M. And you can't
Yeah,
see
you
what
see
what
that. Uh,
what price to the left.
I'm trying to right, hold on, I'll have to load up because I can't see your price levels.
Oh, you can't see my price? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Let me see if I change it. Yeah.
What's that, 71-ish level? Let me load up the chart on here.
How do I change my price on this thing? I didn't realize it was
Yeah, I don't know if you actually can. Hold on. Let me have a look.
make it
Status line. Is it
darker.
not? Nah, that's not it.
Maybe I would think it's like there we go. All right. All right, can you see the price better now?
Um, yeah, I can. It was around I think I entered, it was somewhere around the 71 area, 7106-ish sort of area.
Okay, so to left. Should I keep going to the left? 71.
Yeah,
Over here?
keep going. Yeah, over there. See that M? I seen that M coming down,
Okay.
and I
Okay,
figured
so
it took the
on this
structure.
okay, so on this day you took a sale. Is that
Yeah,
hmm. Okay. Now, that's cool and all. All right. So, with that, what I can see here is a trend line from the top being formed. And I think that your entry should have been covered by this higher time frame trend line. So I don't know how much you lost or where your stops was, but I don't know if you held all the way up to here, but that would have not been a good idea. But also at the same time, you have a trend line going from the bottom. Price is wedged up in this got wedged up in this area. So honestly, there was no break to take sales. Um, it was still making its choice, which it decided to go up here. Do you see that? Um, I do see that there was sell opportunities. Of course, you got this day and things like that, but it came back into this demand level and respected it. And I'm not sure if you saw that. Did you see this at
no,
all? Okay,
no.
so you have this demand area right here. And are you still using the indicator that Jarrell gave you?
Zigzag? No,
No, the supply and demand indicator.
no. I was on Trading View.
Okay.
I
So
still
that's
got it on MT4, but I use Trading View most of
that's
the
fine.
time for my charts.
That's fine. Because I don't use that indicator myself, but you have this demand on the hour, on the 4 hour. Um, for me, all of this demand area would have been a area of interest that I would have been looking for price to respect or come into. For if I was taking a sale, that this would have been a TP level. Did you see this at
Yeah.
all? Did you see it at all or?
No, I mean, I think I mustn't have paid much attention. I see I was trying to day trade that as well.
Okay. So when you're coming to the chart every day, and yeah, if you're using TradingView, you do want to have your higher time frame supply and demand levels marked up on your chart, bare minimum, so you can know, where's your support and resistance, where's your S&D, so you can have an idea of, where price the, I mean, yeah, where the where is the investors? They're in those,
Yeah,
they're always in those areas heavily, and the market is going to make a decision off of those areas every single time. Every single time.
yeah.
Are you having trouble um, um, drawing out your supply and demand areas?
No, I mean, I can usually find them like around the order blocks.
Hmm.
That's usually what I look at. I mean,
Okay.
they're usually around there anyway. They're pretty similar anyway, aren't they?
Yep. Yep. You saw I marked up an order block on the 4 hour, I believe. Yeah. It's order block right there. So automatically that's a POI for me for a price to come into and make a decision. And then you drop down to a lower time frame and you could go even smaller, which it still came into the hour demand area. From this point, yeah, I mean, if you was taking a sale, I'm sorry you lost it, but this should have been, your take profit, and you had some type of exit strategy. Uh, Me not being a swing trader, I just don't know what you're using to exit your trades to be like, okay, this is not going my direction anymore. But the fact that it came out the first time of the demand area, that would have been a signal it may not push through it. It coming back out, and it has like this very strong V shape pattern, which is a known reversal pattern. That would have been a signal to get out the trade as well. And then on the lower time frame, it created a smaller time frame demand area right here where price played in for a while.
Yeah,
And
see the Quasimodo there too.
yeah, there's so many signals that price was going to respect this demand
Yeah,
area. You could have even drew a small, like on a smaller time frame, because I mean, mind you, this is the day, this is Asian, this is New York. Uh, you could have drew like a trend line to protect yourself there
yeah.
as well and exit the trade. Secure whatever. I don't know if you were ever in profit, but you could have secured something.
I've only really got only I didn't get much profit. It was like a tiny amount, just like $3, $4 or something.
Okay.
And then it just killed me.
Yeah. But yeah, you have to have your supply and demand areas drawn up. If you can't see them like on a just without drawing the boxes, you want to draw them up so you have some type of area that you're looking at. And are you using trend lines at all with your trading? I know you say you use
No,
the, what is it? You said you were using the um what's the Bollinger Band thing that you're using? The Eco, what's
Ichimoku. Yeah,
no,
I
no,
don't
not
really
that
use
one. Not
Ichimoku.
that one. The Bollinger Band thing. The wave, Elliott wave, right?
Elliott Wave, yeah, I use Elliott Wave because I'm not great with like like multi-time frame market structure. It's like forgetting what some of the higher time frames are doing. So I would use Elliott Wave to sort of give me a rough idea of what's happening on the higher time frames. It's usually not that bad, but some of them on its own, it's not brilliant because you don't know whether the move's going to keep continuing on or whether it's going to reverse from there. And yeah, there's no indicator that I use for that. I just plot the waves myself. Just use the
Oh,
Elliott wave thing.
which one are you using? You see it on here?
No, I don't use any of that. You
Oh,
see in your tools, I just plot it using the marker.
oh, okay. In my tools, I've never used that.
Yeah,
Where is
the
it?
one bel see the one below the T where your harmonic stuff is. I think it's in there. Yeah,
Which one is it?
yeah, it's all them. The impulse wave? That's you can use that.
Oh, okay. So you're using this. I have
It's
no
just
idea.
to yeah, just to count the waves. It's kind of yeah, it's not great on its own. It's all right for like like a bias, like if you know whether it's gonna make another push up. But yeah, it doesn't tell you where or when it's gonna finish though.
So how would I use
Like you
this
can
if
use
I
the
were to put it on
basically counting. Yeah, just click it from like at the bottom or something, and then just move up. Yeah,
like that?
yeah, pretty much. Although
Okay.
you're using it, you yeah. Although you would, if for the down move, you would start it up near the top of that.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna remove this because I know what I'm doing with it. Okay, so all right, so you're using the Elliott wave. That Elliott wave looks very similar to the zigzag. What's wrong with the zigzag?
I don't know really. I suppose I just don't really think of using it because I would just use the Elliott wave. But then the zigzag, would that tell you where a move's gonna roughly when a move's gonna finish or something, or is that just for normal structure?
Absolutely, because okay, so the zigzag, I use it because it's gonna, if I'm not seeing the break, the zigzag's gonna show me a break, and it looks very similar to the Elliott wave. And to me, it seems more simpler because I don't have to manually draw it. It looks like you have to manually draw your highs and lows. If you're having trouble seeing the highs and the lows of the market, why not just use the zigzag? That's why I mean, that's why that is one of the strongest indicators that I tell, my students to use. If they're having trouble with price action is up and down, break, retest, go in the direction that it broke into. The zigzag will show you every break. It will show you every retest that you need to see, whether it's on the higher time frame or the lower time frame. It's a very simple indicator. You can make it as light as you want to. You can make it as dark as you want to. It does not, to me, honestly, it does not clog up the screen because if you think it's too dark on your screen, just make it light. But you want to see when the market, if you can't see it on a naked chart, you want to use that so that you can see the breaks. They don't have breakout traders for no reason. The reason why there are breakout traders because when price breaks, it's going to go into that direction for a certain amount of time before it pulls back to retest. And it can either be a very big trade in that direction or it could be a scalp trade in that direction depending on what time frame you got into the breakout. But The multi-time frame zigzag is going to show you that. So, in my opinion,
What's the best time frame to have that on?
I use the multi-time frame zigzag. I don't have to change. I don't have to change. I don't have to change the settings. It's going to show me on every time frame. But you being a swing trader, you told me what you're using the 4 hour daily weekly.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. That use it on there when and it's already gonna be ready set go. I I I mean yeah, I don't know what else to. You don't need that many indicators, Colin, to uh to see price action. That would be my
Okay,
suggestion.
well, I've got it set so far on the weekly.
Do you have the one that I have?
Is it by Lonesome the Brave or something? Is that the one you've got?
Uh,
Yeah, I think that's the one I've got. Yeah.
let me let me pull it up so I can see who created it. Yeah, awesome.
Yep, that's the one.
All right. And do you have the same settings that I do?
I don't know.
All right. So
Mine's on like what time frame should I have this set to? Because it's got like a whole bunch of them up here.
so you want to set it to chart,
All right, yeah,
and you want your
yeah,
period to be 4. Change the period to 4
yeah,
and select the zigzag. I don't know what it comes with, but I take these two off and I just have show zigzag, and then you can change your zigzag color. Like I was saying before, it could be very light on your chart. You can make it dark, whatever works for you, but it should be really the only thing clogging up your chart other than your trend lines to enter the trades or exiting the trades that you're taking.
yeah. I've got it now. Yeah, this looks better. Yeah, to hell with that Elliott wave shit.
All right. So now that we got that out the way, let me just check this real quick. Okay. All right. Can y'all see my screen?
Hmm.
I didn't realize who was all in here. What's going on, Mustafa? And hey, Lawrence, welcome. If you guys have questions, just go ahead, put your speaker on. Ask me anything because that's what I'm here for today. And Mustafa, I don't know if your microphone's working, but what's going on? All right. So now that we got that away, throw that Elliott wave away. Um,
Yeah,
James won't be attending, he just said. So, all
yeah. I don't
right.
think JS will be either.
Okay, JS. Okay, cool. That's fine. All right. So that's what happened with oil. Colin, what I really want to get you to start doing, I know you said you were open to, becoming more of a scalp intraday trader, holding for a few hours and things like that. I really want to start to get you to see, you know, the money that you can make every day, whether you're going to trade. But what I want you to do is to choose. Are you going to trade London or are you going to trade New York? You have to pick
I
one.
mean, oh, do I have to pick one? Could I not just like trade both?
No. The only way I would suggest that you could trade both is if you decide to only trade one time in London, one trade, and one time in New York, one trade. Because the
I could.
thing with trading both is that most of the time in London, it's going to go one direction and then it's going to go the opposite direction in New York.
Right.
So you
Yeah.
have to pick
I mean,
one.
I could do that. I could do that. Uh, I suppose I could maybe do New York.
And also at the same time, Colin, you were also mentioning to me that you don't want to be in front of the chart all day. If you're trading
No, I
London
really don't.
and New York, you're going to feel like you're at a full-time 8-hour job. And you don't want to feel like that with trading. Trading should be very flexible. You trade 1 to 2 hours and you're done. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I feel like that's the best feeling to feel if you can do that. Like I don't want trading to feel like a full-time job.
No,
That's why
neither do I. That's what I want to do. Just, you know, like couple hours a day. That would suit me. I'd be happy enough with that.
okay, so first things first, I don't know if you have a pad because y'all should become prepared with a notepad on the screen or something, taking notes. Your first decision that you need to make is, are you going to trade London or New York? And it has to be a definite answer.
New
I don't
York.
care. I don't care if London doesn't have a setup. That's your session. If it does not set up in London, you're not going to New York. That's your day off.
Yeah. Okay
You
then.
understand? Okay. And I hate to sound like this, but you just got to get some order in your life because without order, trading is not going to work for you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So make that definite decision. Write it to yourself, London or New York, period. You don't go to the next session if your setup doesn't happen in your session. You're done for the day. All right. And then once you make that decision, depending on your session, because actually there's different rules that I have for London versus New York, because now we're playing very close to the Asian range if you're choosing London. So have you decided? Or do you need time? Because then we could talk about this in another training group. You don't have
uh,
to make you don't have to make a decision now, but honestly, it is two different ways to trade London and New York. If I if I'm gonna be honest.
well, what way would you be trading them? That's the thing. Like,
All
what's
right.
the
So
best way? Which way so I know would suit better?
okay. All right. So because I go with the BTMM principles in London, with it having the Asian range, most of the time I'm gonna be looking. If I was trading in London, I'm gonna be looking at the previous day of what happened and where price ended, like, and where did it end in the market? Did it end, above a supply and demand area, below the supply and demand area? And then what happened in Asian? And then when price comes out the Asian box, did it break the Asian low or did it break the Asian high? And that's pretty much what I will be looking for London. If it's breaking the Asian low, I'm taking sales. If it's breaking the Asian high, I'm taking buys. But also at the same time with that Asian range, sometimes like it could like play in the middle and of course do like that stop punt high and drop in London as well. But for the most part, it would have already my decision would have already been to take buys because it broke the Asian range uh to the top side. So London's a little funny because you have to look at what's happening, what happened previous day and Asian range. And I can show that to you on a pair that you trade. You could just pick a pair and I'll show you.
Gold.
Okay. Gold. All right, let's go back on gold. So I don't know what price is doing. I don't know why I got that stuff there, but okay. All right. So, all right, somebody got their mic on, but they have also they're not on mute. I mean, somebody's TV's on loud. All right. Thank you. All right, so we're here on gold and I'm just looking back. I'm gonna just pull my screen back so I don't have to change time frames. So with not changing my time frame, y'all could tell I traded this crazy over here wherever. Um, what I would do is I would be looking if price broke any structure. So I see structure broken to the top side, right? So let me see here. This, I will have something like this. But also at the same time, I would have.
So would you always do your markups off the 5 minutes?
Do I do my markups off the 5 minute? No,
Yeah.
not always. It's not. It's just. It's not. Actually, I go from higher time frame to lower time frame when I do my markups. But when I'm trying to get an entry, it's definitely gonna be lower time frame because I want the smallest stop loss that I could find. So I will have something like this. This is a previous day going into Asian range, right? And then so we're coming into London. So I'll already have that. And then in the back of my mind, I will also have that like gold has broken structure to the top side as well. So we can expect a pullback. So because I have this trend line here, which because this trend line is so big, this is also a higher time frame trend line. I will have a trend line, something looking something like that. And so already in the back of my mind, in Asian, I see like an M formation. It broke structure to the downside. It broke my trend line to the downside. It looks like it's coming to fill in these um, gap areas. So it looks like price more than likely would sell out of Asian range if it breaks this box to the downside to come fill in this demand area. My TP would more than likely be somewhere around this trend line that I drew for take profit. So in London, 3 a.m. morning bell, I'm seeing what's happening after this Asian range box, and I'm just gonna play it slow, see if we can get a break to the downside. All right, so I'm looking here, still looking for something. Um, all right, so I got a break. And also because I trade off of the 5 minute, I will also have another trend line drawn if I was trading this session, something like this, right? Because I'm a scalper at heart. So I have a clean setup right here, and let me show you what this setup would be outside of the Asian range box. Now it necessarily didn't, because now that I'm pulling the screen like that, um, what happened is it broke this trend line. Then I have a bearish, bullish, bearish pattern, which is a very high profitable pattern or order block pattern. And so it broke to the downside, my trend line that I have drawn, and my zigzag is helping me to see structure uh I meant for me to draw my trend line. And I also see an M pattern being formed right here. So I have two highs that were respected. So I would have this trend line drawn, it gets broken, a bullish candle comes and respects the trend line, and then it breaks down again. I will already be in this trade, probably to break a, this wick candle right here. So on this candle, I would probably already be in this trade, but these two candles right here would be confluence that we're going to sell. So I'm not saying that you have to sell right here. It's up to the trader. But if you saw this pattern be formed and this candle come back and test this bearish, bullish, bearish pattern, all in all, you could still grab your entry here, because this, let me see if it did not. But I will put my stops above the bearish, bullish, bearish pattern, and my stop loss would be behind this, because now this is also a bearish engulfing pattern as well right here. These two, my stops will be above right here, and I would take this trade down. My target would still be this area right here, because of course this area, well, my first TP will actually be this low right here, but my main target would be somewhere around here. And that's for London. That's just how I trade London. It's very different from the way that I trade New York, but I have to use this Asian range box as uh, I have to use it along, yeah, with how I'm looking at the market, because yeah, what the Asian range does, it just, I don't know, it just works with London, and how Steve Morrow uh, tells us, if those highs and lows of the Asian range are broken, it more than likely they're going into that direction. So that's just how I trade it. So we're gonna see, what this trade ends up doing. TP1 already smashed, so I'm collecting TP1, and I have to draw my, let me pause this real quick, because I'm looking for it to touch this trend line, but it does not have to. But profits would be secured. All right, keep going.
So would you not then be looking for like buys up then in the London session then? Or would you just take that sell straight out of the Asia low or whatever?
Until it hits TP, and you see it hit TP right here. Until it hits TP. I wouldn't, because London would be my session. If I'm choosing London as my session, I cannot, and I do not want to go into New York, especially morning bell. It's getting close to morning bell. I am not, if I'm trading London, I can't trade London past what, 8 a.m., 8:30 a.m. That it has to be a cutoff time. If your move did not happen, um, from 3 a.m. to 8:30 a.m., you got to cut it off. You got to cut the trade off. If you're going to be a scalper, you have to. Do you see what happened when the trade hit TP off of this trend line, because I have this higher time frame trend line drawn on my chart? Now a W is being formed. Now we're going into New York principles. I can't hold I can't hold that trade from London to New York. The market maker is going to stop me out. That's just how it works. It's not. That's why I say you have to choose one. You can't choose both. I when I trade, I don't care what happened in London. I know something's gonna happen in New York. More than likely, it's gonna be the opposite of what happened in London.
So if you were trading New York, in what way would you do that?
Okay. So now there's going to be different analysis going on because this is my session. I'm going into New York. Depending on what time this was, because I already see it like a W being formed. And then of course I have my higher time frame trend line on the chart, which I probably would have already had marked up. Hold on. This is the hour. So I would have already had this higher time frame trend line marked up on my chart, which my zigzag is helping me draw this trend line, and it got touched. More than likely, because I'm in New York, when this touch happened, I'm gonna start to look for buys, because remember, all in all, I said that price had broken structure to the top side. So with the BTMM principles, we look for stop hunt low, rise if we're looking for buys. So on this hour chart, I see the W being formed. And then I drop down to the lower time frame. I still see uh I see structure being broken to the top side here. It broke all of this, and then we got a pullback. What would I do to get into this trade? I would use another trend line. That's all I would do. Now, I won't necessarily be aligned with my my zigzag, but I'm going to grab all the wicks that I can. And this is around the time that I trade. I'm in New York session. And when I see that this trend line on the higher time frame is being respected, I also uh, it's also area of demand, because remember over here I was saying this was uh, like the TP1 area, right? This demand area is being respected, and also price broke. Did it break it? Well, it kept making higher highs. Then we got a pullback. I'm going to take this trade right here, and my stop would be right below this candle, not necessarily behind here, because I'm a scalper. I'm just trying to minimize the risk as much as possible. So my stops would be behind this candle. It might not even be all the way behind this candle because I have a trend line. I will probably, if I'm only willing to risk 10 to 20 pips, it would be about 10 to 20 pips behind this trend line to take it up for a 1 to 3 bare minimum on gold. Oh, is this gold? Yeah, on gold. Does that make sense at all? I know it's a little different.
Yeah, I mean it does. I just need to be a bit more strict, I suppose, and have them rules in place of like what way to trade it in the session that I'm gonna be doing.
Okay.
I don't know for like
And then Jarrell, actually, he has cool ways for London, because he trades London. I trade New York. He has really cool ways using the previous day to get in to the trade, and this is without indicators. He's not going to show y'all any new indicators, but he wants to jump on and show his way of how he does London. But first you got to confirm, because like I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a stop hunt low um rise, or I'm looking for stop hunt high drop. And those stop hunt low rises and stop hunt high drops, they're all going to align with what's happening on the higher time frame. Why did I know, and why could I be confident in taking this buy? Because I saw structure broken to the top side. I'm looking for buys. That's my overall bias. I'm looking for buys anyways. Where's the most high probable area to look for a buy? When it touches a higher time frame trend line, when it touches an area of demand and it respects it, the best way to know that price is going to respect the area of demand is, yes, you're going to see wick action. You're going to see along with the wick action, you're going to see those the candle that hit the supply or demand area. You're going to see those the candle being broken. And I think Jarrell is now using the 5 minute like me, but I like to use the 5 minute. If I see like this is, let me show you guys. Let me just go back to like see some good demand areas. This is one right here. So this is like an area of demand you want. This is a high probability demand area right here. I want to see price come into here and wick. But when I see price coming to this demand area and wick, I'm not gonna be in the trade right when it hits it. Some traders like to be in the trade when it as soon as it gets here. I can't hurt my account that way. I guess I'm more conservative that way. I'm not gonna get in when it wicks. I'm not gonna get in when it wicks here either. But I'm gonna break it down to the T.
Yeah,
And
that's
when
what I normally do.
I know, I heard you. You said you did it on Friday. I was like, oh my gosh, no, Colin, don't do it.
I know.
I'm,
I
I'm
gotta stop doing that. Wait a
so
bit more.
you have to wait. If it's gonna go that direction, you will be happy more that you waited and you got a very small stop loss and that you knew that the price. Well, you had more confluence that the price was gonna go that way. So sorry that all this drawing is on here, but I'm trying to show y'all how I would get into this demand. I will have something like this happening, coming through price like that on the wicks. I will see this wick action. I will see this candle come up. This candle right here is my entry candle. Why is this candle my entry candle? For one, it closed above the trend line, but for two, because this it closed above this little build up right here on the 5 minutes. So this is like about 15 minutes of, okay, where is it gonna go? Where is it gonna go? So like a 15-minute wait and it closed above. My entry more than likely is uh well, it has to be above this trend line. So my entry is going to be about right here. But if I want to wait a little bit more, because now I have a high probability bullish pattern happening. If I want to wait a little bit more just to see if I get a really nice entry, I could wait a little bit for, because I saw a close above my trend line and a pullback to touch the trend line for a retest of a trend line. My entry could be right here and my stops below this candle. So of course it's all up to the trader. You could take it when it breaks or you could take it when it retests. But I have a nice high probability pattern to show me, okay, bullish, and it's retesting the bullish pattern. Everything is aligning very well. I'm very confident to put my stops below this candle. If you're, if I'm not that type of person, but Jarrell does use wick sometimes. If you're feeling froggy, you could put your stops below the wick. I just don't do that. I don't feel the need that I have to do that. If it's going to stop me out, it wasn't going to go my direction anyways, because honestly, if it's coming back below my trend line, those are bad signs for me anyways. I don't want to risk any more of my capital than I have to. So my stops would go a little bit below this now bullish engulfing candle, and I'm taking it up 1 to 3 bare minimum. Do you see how that works? I have so much confluence, and I also see another confluence happening. My TDI is showing me that the price that it's overbought. They're oversold. Sorry. Oversold in this area. If it's oversold in the demand area, what is the market going to do? It has to buy up at least a little bit. The market always has to balance itself. So we're oversold. It's so much confluence to take this buy in this area. I mean, yeah, it's up to the trader at that point. So yeah, stops below here. Here, if you're conservative, your entry could be here. It could be here if if you're a very patient trader, you're just waiting for money to come to you. It could be here, and you take it up for a 1 or 3. And as you can see, there was so much money to be made on that trade. But it takes patience, and it takes knowing what am I looking for. I'm looking for high probability demand, supply and demand areas. I'm looking for trend lines to be broken. You could drop your fib on there, whatever it is. But yeah. So Jarrell, he wants to hop on a little bit and talk about how he gets in on his stuff. So I'm gonna give it to him. I'm gonna go get some water, y'all. I'll be back.
Thanks very much for that.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
How's it going, Jarrell?
Hey, what's up, man? How y'all doing?
I'm all right. I can't complain.
Are you? Colin. Second. Yo, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, can hear you.
Okay, all right.
Yes, hi, how are you?
Hey, what's up, Mustafa?
Good. How's everyone?
Yeah, I'm doing good. All right, so I asked y'all what pairs do y'all trade? Like, what pair do you trade so I can go over a pair?
I actually trade pretty much anything.
All right, I'll do US 30 or US 30. So, I know she used the zigzag. I use the zigzag also, right? Well, I found out that I like to use the yesterday's breaker structure, and I look for the trade in that direction. Um, Once I get that breaker structure, I'll break that down to you guys. But
I can't hear you.
hello.
Yeah, can hear you now. You sounded like you were miles away.
Oh, okay. What about now? You can hear me real well?
Yeah, yeah, here you now.
Okay, so I said right here is a break of structure here. I use zigzags to kind of tell you, what a structure is. This is a structure here. We get a break, but price never comes back to this area, right? I would be looking for price to come back into this area. So I didn't get that one. I wouldn't trade this day if I was going to be looking for that trade for US 30 specifically. If you look at US 30 again, huh? Yeah, I know she would, but I wouldn't. My day of trading would be here. Price broke this structure here. This is a pullback. It comes back here. When it comes up here, I will be looking at this level to see if it's going to hold. I will hold this, but I will not be taking a trade here. I'll just be drawing my trend line to see if price going to actually take this out, or I'll be looking for on a lower time frame price to start making lower lows. Maybe on a 5 minute lower lows start happening, which as you can see, price shot through this level. So I'm like, this area is null and void, and this is a New York session. But as you can see, the next day price comes. I mean, the same day price comes up here late New York session. You could take a trade here in New York session, late New York session, but I don't take. I like try to catch it early. But if it does happen here, I will eventually put my stop loss above the high because that's the area where it should not be breaking. Does that make sense? Before I go any further,
Yep, that makes sense.
so if you took it here, you still would just been holding for the day, but it eventually played out going down in your favor to um and I believe it came up here again, and I'm gonna tell you why it came up here again in just a second. But and price ended up tanking down to the low down here, right? So I'm gonna go through a bunch of them. You're gonna see that I'm gonna tell you my settings too, because there's a reason why my zigzag. I found out the perfect settings for my zigzag to show the areas that I would mark up on my own. So but you can see here if you took this trade here or you took it in New York session, either here, don't matter if you waited the next day because you was like, okay, I'm not going to trade this day. Maybe you wasn't at the market because you didn't see it come up there and it didn't hold this level. Maybe you didn't look at it anymore. But this day here, you would have automatically been up about 6% just on that trade alone. Whether you went for lower lows, however you want to do it, however you want to get in the market. I know you guys have different ways to get in the market. Me personally, I either draw a trend line. If I can't draw a trend line, sometimes it's hard to draw trend lines, but you could draw a trend line here and you can see that price cleared that area completely. It started from here actually, and you could have drew that trend line, and when that trend line got broken, you could have actually took that trade down, still had a very small stop loss like this. And I'm gonna show you one I called last week that was really a really nice trade, but you can see that was like 8% already, and it haven't even came down to this low, which it should. Because why should it come down to this low? Because price has already broke structure, so by default we should be looking for price to start taking down at least down here somewhere. But if it don't, it's okay. It's just that you're already up. You could be closing out partials, being up this amount. But let's go to the next day. So we got this low here. I'm gonna show you. We got this low here. This low never gets taken out, as you can see, right? So this low never gets taken out, but this area here comes right back up into this area. Sometimes they leave money, and this is why you get a price come directly back up here and comes right back down. So I'd have been looking for a trade back up in this level, but it didn't come. Yes, and it was a quasi that happened. So if you trade the quasis with this strategy, it does work too. But like I said, I look for the high, the very highs and the very lows to be tested. And I'm gonna show you some examples of that happening, and price starting to move in a direction. And if you see price starting to reverse, sometimes it reverse simply because price has hit a key area on a higher time frame. Um, I didn't really want to come in here marking up like the 4 hour, the daily, and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure you guys already know how to do that. Everybody know how to mark up charts. It's just mostly it be mental. But I'm just trying to tell you guys how I do it most of the time, how I do it. So what I'm looking for is price to come back and come back into this range here. If it don't come back into this range, I don't have a trade. That's simple on US 30. That's what I'm saying on US 30. Okay. This low was never broken. You can take this still, but the low was never broken. This is still a trade. I just wouldn't take it because the low wasn't broken here for me. Some people still take this. If they get a trend line break or they start seeing price making lower lows here, I don't that don't validate me that this trade is actually going in my direction yet. But as you can see, when price comes back, price do come back up here, and price does come back up here in New York session. And if you took that trade, which is this area here, right, right above the high, it do give you about I think it gives you about 2% before it reverses back. You don't get stopped out. Actually, it still comes back down again the next day. But by the way, if I don't take a trade, most of the time I try to get out by the end of the day. So if this don't drop by the end of the day, I'm getting out most of the time. I'm not holding the whole day because I don't like holding 2, 3, 4 days. I do not like doing that because then you can become liquidity. And I know you guys know you can become liquidity very fast if you get in the market too late. Or I mean try to hold trades for a very long time at a certain key area. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's why I kind of want to be a day trader and just, have it done that day or maybe the next day.
Yes. We can go to the next one here. Okay, this is the next area here. The reason why I'm marking up all these candles, because remember, this is the 15-minute chart. Let me go to the hour just to make it look clear. See, on the hour, this area got hit. And as you can see, this is the hour zigzag chart, by the way. That's why it looked like that. That's why I was looking like that. I got it on an hour. So when price pulls back into this area, this is an Asian range. This is the Asian time. Sometimes price don't come back, but it did break structure. It broke the previous structure to the left, right? It broke the previous structure to the left, and we're looking to take it down at least bare minimum to here. By the end of the day, it ended up closing down to here. Sometimes I hold it to the end of the day, but I know by this area here, I should be taking something off because they already done dropped to the low, which means when price comes to the low, it always like to pull back. When it breaks structure, it likes to pull back. Okay, so as you can see, price ended up going 4% here on this day here. As you can see, this day here, matter of fact, I didn't talk about this day. Once this trade would have came back, I would have been looking to see what they're going to do. They came back in this area. Like I told you, if I don't see no lower lows being made on a lower time frame, I'm not taking this trade. And this is how I vet getting out of trades like this that just continue up and push through, key areas like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the next day. So now, like I said, I don't have my higher time frame marked up, but I'm pretty sure this was a higher time frame level, and this is why price made this big push to the top side here. Okay, so when price made this push, we already know that price is reversing. So if price is reversing, once it makes this big impulse, all we're doing is waiting for price to come back down to this level here. And as you can see, this day here, it came down here. I told you at the end of the day, I'm out. If it start making higher highs, let's just say in the higher highs on the lower time frame, I end up getting a position somewhere within this range. By the end of the day, I'm out. I'm not coming back. I told you I don't want to hold it 2, 3 days because I know they're going to come back again. They like to come back 3, 4 times sometimes if price haven't took off already. Price comes back again on the lower time frame. If we could able to find a position on a break on a lower time frame, let's just say we found a position up here somewhere. By default, the end of the day, you would have been up about 1.6%. That just depends on your lot size of what you're doing. But I will be either taking partials, like I told you. If I feel like I ain't make enough and I feel like it's gonna go, just like this day here, I would either I'm up 3%. I am closing out, I'll be done. But if I'm only up 1.55, I will close something out just in case it comes back. And so I don't have, because I feel like it should go further. I don't think I should just be making that amount of money. So if the end of the day it comes up and I make about 3%, that's what I go for, about 3%, 3 to 4%, I'm done. Yo, hello? Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah, can hear you now.
Okay, so yeah, US 30 didn't really give me too many setups this week, by the way. If I just showed you setups from way back then, but if I go to other pairs, I'm gonna show you some other setups. But like I will be looking, for instance, I haven't looked at US 30 on a higher time frame, but if it's still going into an uptrend, I'll be looking for this to come back down to this key area here, and I'll be looking for a rejection somewhere in this range to come back up and continue up if that's what's going to happen. I'm not sure yet, so I need to check the higher time frame to see what's going to happen on that pair. But I'm gonna try because gold been in like some funny business too.
So what you will be doing, like, what you'll be looking for if you are trading as a day trader for US 30?
Say it again.
As a day trader for US 30, what will you be looking for? Like main things to look at.
What am I looking for on US 30?
A day trader, what I should be looking at as a day trader.
I can't understand you.
Did you get my point?
Yeah, can you
hear me now?
Can you chat it in chat, do the chat
Like,
message?
like a day trader. What are you looking at?
What do you mean? What do you
Like you
mean?
mean,
If I'm taking a
yeah,
US
like
30 on a like a day trader, just for the whole day, what I should be looking at?
Oh, for the whole day?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm only looking for for the whole day. I'm looking for a break of structure to happen. If it don't happen from the previous day, usually because I'm trading from the hour chart, so I don't get 8 million break of structures on the hour chart, right? So that's not going to happen every day. But if price breaks the previous high, most likely the yesterday's high is usually the high on that you see is on the hour chart. When that get broken, by default, I expect price to continue up in that direction the next day. After, and that's from actually looking at the higher time frame first. So I have to go to the daily. Let me do this real quick. I'll have to go to the daily and look at where we're at on the daily before I even know, okay, we just broke structure to the downside. We can still make a reaction here. We haven't hit this level yet, which means we got more room to go to the top, right? So if I go to the daily and I go to the 4 hour, my next key level on the 4 hour is here. Where's the next? This structure here is the next key level here. By default, we're in the uptrend on the 4 hour. You can see that we just broke this level here.
Yeah.
If it comes back here, I'm looking for it to continue up. But being that we just broke this structure here, price could come down a little further and test the order block on the 4 hour. It can come down here, but I'm not at this point now. I'm looking to see price come down here and continue up to test this level first before I decide to do anything else. They don't have to. We know price like to move how it wants to move, and it don't have to actually go there. It can actually come all the way back down to here, right? But from what I'm looking at right now, I'm looking for price to continue up. This is a continuation candle here on the daily. So I'm looking for this to continue up. I see it's like buyers and sellers are in between this area, but for the most part, I'm looking for it to go up. So on the hour, what is happening on the hour? We had a break of structure. Actually, we had a break of structure here. We actually already retested this level. Honestly, we already retested it and it's already pushed up to this high up here. So if we drop down to the 15, that looked like this. And it's already came and tested this order block. By default, we know when price move from order block to order block. I showed you guys that a long time ago. Price move from order block to order block. So by default, you see all these wicks on a lower time frame. If I drop down to maybe the 3 minute, you can see the transition happening here. Right here. Price clears that high. This was a lower low. They made a lower, this made a lower low. Then price comes down and then it breaks this area here. When it breaks this area here, I'm taking this up and already come up to here. If I was scalping the market, I ain't been scalping though. She scalps. I haven't been scalping like that. But if I take this trade up, that's automatically already 3% to this level here because of price clearing the structure, then finally breaking up and clearing the high, these highs here, and then retrace back to go back up. Okay, that's a small, minute move of what the move that I would usually take. But see, for me, like I told you, this move already hit, but I'm looking for price to continue up. Bare minimum to here. It should be hitting here. It may pull back deeper in this retracement on the hour and break structure. This is why you got to know where you're at, because if it breaks structure on the hour here and it comes down here, I don't want you to be looking for buys. I mean, sales at this order block here, thinking it's going to break because it broke this structure. You got to go to the 4 hour. If you look at the 4 hour, we just broke structure on the 4 hour. So what happens on the hour? It's going to start making lower lows to the low here, right? It's going to start doing this on the hour. And you're going to think when downtrend, we're not in a downtrend. On the 4 hour, we're still in an uptrend. We're just coming to test this POI. to continue back up into the uptrend like this, right? Then we may come up there. But on the hour, you got to be able to recognize that on the hour, because if we come down and clear this low here, we automatically saying, okay, for me, off the rip, I'm saying, okay, we're coming down. If we break this low, I'm looking for us to start coming down. Boom. That means we're going to come down and test a little deeper inside of this market. Right. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's going to come down deeper because price has already pushed up and broke structure on the hour. But on the 4 hour, we just broke a major 4 hour structure here on the left right here. We just broke this area here, which means on the hour, we may go into a downtrend, but the 4 hour is still in the uptrend. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
And I can show you, Colin, do that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you this in live market. I'm gonna add the zigzag on my chart again. I'm gonna add another one, right? And I'm going to change this one to no, where's the other one? Okay, I'm gonna change this one to 240, the 4 hour. I'm gonna show you what I mean. So I can give you a live example. All right. Yeah, let me change the color. Yeah, I got that. That's cool. All right. So I'm gonna go through here and I'm gonna go to the hour and I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Let's remove everything off the chart so you can just see that specifically. Matter of fact, do I want to take the candles off so you can see? Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take the candles off. All right. So as you can see, let's mark them. Let's go over here. Oh yeah. Let's go over here. So this is the 4 hour structure here, right? And this is how I learned how to, master price action. As we can see here, we broke this level here, right? On the 4 hour, which means we're in a downtrend on the 4 hour by default, correct? Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we broke this level here, we came down and broke this level. This is the hour structure. The hour structure gets broken to the top side. By default, if you're looking at the hour, you think you're in the uptrend, right? But you're not, because you're not looking at the higher time frame. The higher time frame is still telling you we're in a downtrend, but all this is doing is pulling back on the hour to try to match to come test either the POI or come and test some of these areas in this range here from the hour structure. Field levels. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah, it does.
So when price comes back, it breaks up and hit the 618, which would match a structure on the hour. If it broke this level, the next level, where would it go? Where's the next hour structure? In this range here. So we would have been looking around in this range here for price to make a reaction back to the downside. What do we be looking for? A break of structure to tell us that price is going back into a downtrend. When did the hour go back into the downtrend? The hour went back in the downtrend right here. It broke, came back, test the POI here, somewhere in this range. Somewhere in this range. And you can see it came back again to actually test the order block that was probably on this chart. And what did it do? It tanked to go where? Back into the downtrend from the 4 hour. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So you always got to know where you're at when price move. When price is moving, this is where people get messed up at, because maybe on the hour chart you're in an uptrend, but on a 4 hour you're in a downtrend. Okay, and vice versa. In the 4 hour you're in a uptrend, but the hour you're in a downtrend. You got to match both of them together, and this is how you beat up the market consistently. Okay, and US 30 is one of the worst pairs to, like, I ain't gonna say worst, but one of the hardest pairs to trade when it comes to like price action, because a lot of times they like to move funny. But if you understand the higher time frame, that's how you beat US 30 up, on the higher time frame, not the lower time frame.
So that means the higher time frame always override the lower time frame.
Say it again.
The higher time frame
Overrides.
overwrite the lower time frame.
Correct. Yes, you're right. Okay, let's go to another pair. I'm gonna try another pair. Let's try GJ. I don't know if people trade GJ, right? Now, let's look at GJ. These are areas I was taking. Remember, I told you guys. Hold on, let me mark it up. I was back testing this. Remember, I was telling you guys earlier that when price breaks structure, I know we're in an uptrend on the 4 hour. So when price breaks structure on the hour, it comes right back in this area. That's a trade. You win this trade. That's 6%. It did it 3 times in a row. Broke structure here, came right back into the order block the next day, which is in New York session, broke up again. Broke again, came right back into this area again, and then went back up. Do you guys see that? Does that make sense what I
Yes.
just said?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
remember,
Uh-huh.
I told you guys that every time it breaks structure to the top side, it's going to come back and test the POI. Most of the time, it's going to come way back down here. I only take trades if it come down here. I'm not taking no trade if it comes. See another one. I don't take trades if it comes way back to the way halfway in the middle, because then I have to put my stop loss way at the bottom, and I don't like that big stop loss. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah.
So as you can see again, price comes up and tests this area here and then start breaking down. Why did price start coming down? Well, guess what? We broke structure somewhere on a higher time frame, so which made it. Let me move this stuff real quick. Show you. Let me go back to the candles. As you can see here, let me just take the hour off real quick. What is the 4 hour doing? We're breaking up. This is the 4 hour lines. We broke up. It retested this level here, broke up, came back, and went up, right? That makes sense. That looked perfect, right? You see that, right?
Mm.
Yep.
I don't want to confuse nobody. Make sure that everybody's on the same note. Everybody understand what I just did show, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
4 hour uptrend, yeah.
Yes, the uptrend is happening here, 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 here. On the hour chart, though, this is the hour chart, but I'm going to put the hour zigzag on the chart and show you what I'm talking about. If you look at the hour, it looks funny, right? You like, okay, what's going on? Price pushed and broke up. It came up. It broke structure here. So shouldn't we be in a downtrend on the hour? No, the 4 hour is coming back to test the structure that it just came from. So when we go back into the uptrend, price pulls back and shoots right back up to the high and broke up the here. Why did it do that? Well, price just broke structure to the top side. So by default, price is going to pull back to the 50% and went up here. It came back again and it went right back up to where probably going to go to it hit negative 27. But the point is, what I'm trying to tell you is, if you look at the hour chart, we went into the downtrend here, then we went back into the uptrend. If we're in a downtrend on an hour and we're in an uptrend on the 4 hour, you need to wait. You need to go to another pair and look for a pair that is in confluence. Remember when I told you guys about the indicators and I tell you all the indicators got to line up? Remember I told you guys that, right?
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the same thing with price action. We need the hour and the 4 hour to align together for us to get in the trade. So we have the best possibility that that price is going to go in our direction. Okay? So
Okay.
look at this. What happened here? We went here, pulled back down. Let me go to the candles again. As you can see, this looked crazy, but price pulls up. It did break this left side structure. By default, we're looking for price where to come back to. What do price got to come back to? It got to come back down here for me to take a trade. I don't care that price did all this other stuff and went up in this area. I know we're in an uptrend on the 4 hour. Unless we break this level here, which is a 4 hour structure, you can see the blue line. If it breaks this, we're in a downtrend. But we ain't breaking that. What did it do? It came right here to this level. Where did it come to? In because I trade London session a lot too. Let me put the London session on here. Let me take this off. London session. That's what you should be looking for that trade to happen. It happened here. You'd have been done for the day. Came here, done for the day. Came here again, done for the day again. Same positions, back and forth, easy money, over and over and over. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
If it don't make sense, let me know so I can explain it to you a little more.
It is okay. Just you
No,
need
it
to.
does.
Do anyone have questions?
No,
So
not
is it
right now.
necessarily like you need to have the alignment between 1 hour and 4 hour time frame?
You said what about the 1 hour and 4 hour time frame?
Is it necessarily it has to align both time frames?
Yes, they have to align. If you're going to trade on the 15 has to align with hour and the 4 hour. Does that make
Okay.
sense? If that's why I
Yep.
told you guys put the training wheels on, the zigzags on your training wheels until you're able to see it with your own eyes. The training wheels is going to show you. If I say we're in a we're in an uptrend here on a 4 hour, right? Boom. But on an hour, we're in a downtrend on the hour. When we break this level back up again, I know I'm taking a trade here because I know where the 4 hour is at. I told you every time price breaks structure, this is a 4 hour and an hour break of structure here. You can see here the blue line is the 4 hour. Let me take the candles off real quick. The blue line is here. We broke this structure here to the left over here. We broke this structure here to the left. We just broke 4 hour and hour structures. Those are the best ones because we know that price is coming back down to the POI most likely, and it's going to continue up. Okay. If they both break at the same time, that's a really good indication that price is going to come back down and go back to the structure to the low. And when price comes back, it did break this low here, right? It broke this low, but don't be alarmed because on the 4 hour we're in an uptrend. So long as price don't break down here, we ain't worried about it. Okay.
Yep.
So what happens? And by the way, I have mine set to 10. I know she set hers to 5 and 4. The only reason why I don't set mine 5 to 4 because it sometimes it'd be like this. It'd be too many wonky moves to me. And sometimes you may get a fake out and may get a break and it wasn't actually ready to break. So it depends like how you want to trade it. Like you can just play around and see which one. I use 10 personally because I look for the next day move most likely. But as you can see, it broke this level here, right? Boom. When it broke this level here, what happens to the 15-minute chart? The price going to pull back. So let's go to the 15 real quick. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Let me change this to the 15-minute chart. What I'm trying to get you guys to see that if price start, you want to get price to align together all together, right? So when price breaks the 15-minute structure, this is the 15-minute zigzag now. You can see price breaks the 15-minute structure too. So this was the last 15-minute structure right here. It breaks, but we looking for a pullback, right? Price start pulling back. When do it break structure? It made a lower low, lower high, lower low. This high got broken right here. When that got broken, it comes right back where? To the POI, and where did it go? To the top side. See how I lined 3 time frames together? I don't want you to line so many because it'll be hard, it'll get confusing. But as you guys get better at it, you're gonna be able to do the same exact thing from this to the 5 minute to the 1 minute, all that. But the point is, you want to be able to align the hour and the 4 hour time frames at least together because that's only 2. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys have any questions on what I just explained?
No, not right now.
Okay. So let's go to another one. I'm going to keep showing you examples because I want you guys to understand where I'm coming from and why I'm looking at the chart the way I look at them. Okay. So let's change this back to the hour. All right. What do we have here? This is prime example. Like it's so easy when you understand this. Look, price is in the uptrend. Broke here. Boom. We're still in the uptrend on the hour. Breaks up. We go into a downtrend. We go into a downtrend right here because this is the last lower high. This is the last high and this is the last lower high. Price just consolidated really between this area. Then it broke here, faked everyone out, and this is usually what on the regular chart, a liquidity grab. People thinking that it's finna go into a downtrend, they're gonna grab the breakout traders thinking it's finna go down, and what does it do? It don't do that. It goes right back up into an uptrend because on the higher time frame, when an uptrend. How would you even know that you're in an uptrend? Well, if you go to the hour, like I told you guys, and you look at that same area, look what happened. Higher low, higher high. Then we make higher low, higher high. I'm sorry, higher low, higher low. But we don't make another high. We make another lower high. Then we make a lower low, lower high, lower low. Then we break here, and then we make a small lower high here. That's on the hour chart. You could take a trade here, but it's more risky than waiting for it to break here. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
The reason why I'm saying that, if you don't understand the reason why this is more risky to take a trade, because it did make a higher high here, is because the last lower high was here. This is like this over here. This is like just basically playing within the range of these two levels here. It's playing within the range of these two levels. All this structure to it break this high, break this high. We don't know what price is going to do yet. When price breaks this low here, people automatically think, okay, we're going to a downtrend. But price fakes you out and comes right back up and comes right back up to this area here. When it broke this level here, it was telling you that, hey, we may be potentially going back into an uptrend. Price clears this high and shoots straight up to the top side. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even see that. It went over there. Okay, so wait a minute. Let's try another one. Let's try another area. Because I have so many. It's so easy when you start understanding what price is doing. Like I told you, zigzags are going to help you guys to stay in the right direction and not against the same direction. Like I told you guys, this is the this chart here. Let's go to the hour. Hold up. Let me take the 4 hour off real quick. Let me put my zigzags on the hour, and I'm going to backtrack, and I'm just going to show you guys the power in understanding where you at in the market, right? If I know that we're going in back into an uptrend, which we are in an uptrend, you can clearly see that we went into an uptrend on the 4 hour right here. This is the last high. This is the last high here. This is the last lower high here, right? Price clears this high, comes right back down to this level here, right? Let's go back to, um, let's take this off real quick. All right, so we here. The thing I'm looking for, I told you guys, what am I looking for? A break of structure. We had a break of structure right here. Price comes right back to this POI. What happened? It shoots up. We look for the next break of structure again. When did price break structure again? Right here. When did it come back? A couple days later. That's why I have multiple pairs, because I'm looking for this same trade every time. It's going to happen all the time. Trend line on lower time frame. Find a trend line between this area. Draw it. You go right into this trade into profit. By the end of the day, you in profit crazy. Okay. Let's go again. We make a low here. Draw the trend line. What happened? Why am I looking at this area? What happened here? We had a break. Comes right back into this level. Drop. It's going to happen. They do it so much that it doesn't make any sense. Like I said, I was back testing this and I was just marking it up, and it was happening so much that it's kind of crazy, right? Same thing here. This is something you need to realize too. They'll do this to you too. So this is why I don't just jump in heavy. Sometimes what they would do is they will break structure, which they broke this high here, right? And they'll come right back. This is our POI area here. They will wick below it just a little bit to grab liquidity. Sometimes you become liquidity. That's why I don't just jump directly in. I drop down to the lower time frame, and you actually had this area here too. You could have drew it all the way over here, but I know you guys probably won't remember all of that, honestly. If you guys don't that's why she said just don't jump directly in when price hit this level. Look for some type of confluence on the lower time frame to tell you that price is going in that direction. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I need to do that.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, this is what I do on a consistent basis. Like I said, it's the same thing, guys. It's the same thing. I literally look for a break from yesterday's high in the direction of the trend of the higher time frame. So what I mean by that is, let's just say we was here and we was looking at price, and what did price do here? Price actually broke here and came here and went back up. But let's just mark these levels. Let's start here. This was my high from yesterday's. This is London high. This was the last high on this day here that I'll be looking at, the lower high on the hour chart. We broke here. We never came back. Boom. This is our next high. Price breaks here. What did it do? It came back. What happened after it came back? You had a trade to the top side. What did it do again? It broke up again. My fault. Where's the high? Where's the last lower high? Here, right here. We got this high here. We got this level here. It broke right up into this range, came right back in here again. And they do this sometimes. Sometimes you may miss a trade because look what they did. They came right into this range, and you what I did see though, sometimes they'll come back. So maybe if they come in at like at the end of the day, because this is the end of the day, they may come in here. You don't have to take this trade. They may come back later on that day and give you an entry and go right back up. Okay? Yeah. That's London right here. That green line, the green is London. Because I'm on GJ. Yeah, GA. I put it on green. The London, New York session over here. So it's a simple move. Look, they broke structure again. Look at these moves you catch. You can catch, and sometimes you're gonna catch these. Like I'm going to show you my last trade, and then I'm gonna get off this. But and I'll do another training if you guys need more help with this. But I'll show you guys live examples and practice stuff like that. We can back test it, and I'll show you it. But you can see here if you and mind you guys, if you lose, you're losing very small. You can see your reward is so big and your wins are so big, right? Your rewards are big and your losses are small. Does that make sense? You see this happen consistently over and over when I'm showing you guys, right?
Yeah. Loads of times I see that.
Exactly. So stop on lows and stop on highs is still the thing to go. That is the move. But as you can see, I'm taking it up to this high here because I don't know if it's going to break out like and just go up like this all the time, right? But it did. I don't need all that. I got 5%, but some people, if you low on your or you got runners, you could possibly catch something like this, but it's not a guarantee that it's gonna always happen like that, right? So you got to be careful with that. Now let's go to the trade I took last week, and it was a really good trade. I'm gonna walk you
So,
guys through it.
how long you will hold your trade for if you are trading in a New York session?
Say it again.
How you hold on your trade?
End of the day. End
So,
of the
there's
day.
any indication where you can determine your exit point
Yeah, I'm out at
when
the
you
end
are
of the day.
okay.
I'm out at the end of the day most of the time. My R's usually happen at the end of the day because my stop loss is not very big, so I don't really need to hold trades for the whole time. If that happens, then I'm not trading it. I'm be done. I'm out the trade because I know I told you guys they like to come back a lot. They like to come back to those areas. But if you usually at the high, you usually don't get caught in no BS. But let's go to this trade here that I caught this week here, this day here. So mhm. Right. A lot of times you'll have to hold to the end of the day for the market to actually play in your favor too, by the way. I want you guys to know that. Right. You have to have your RR set. Correct. Correct. Huh? Yeah, so you gotta have you gotta make sure that your RR is correct. You gotta make sure that you have a high RR and make sure that you it match what type of trader that you are. If you're a scalper and you don't like big RRs or you I don't know what you guys want to do, but you got to find out. I'm showing you guys what we are using. We are showing you guys what we're using, but at the end of the day, it still is who you are as a person and what you're comfortable with, right? Um, you can take some of this information and find something else, but at the end of the day, our RRs is different going to be from your different from your RRs. Like we may be doing 3RR, 4R. You guys may want to do more than that. Some people do because we can't force you to do anything. We can just tell you what we do. And if you want to do that, you can. But if from what we do, I do 3R, 4Rs. She do around the same range. So if that's what you guys want to do, then you do it. Okay. But we're not going to tell you to put a gun to your head and tell you that's the RR you need to go for.
Okay.
All right. But a 1 to 3 will make you profitable. And the reason why we're saying that is because you only have to win 3 trades out of 10 to be profitable.
So what would you do then about moving stops to break even or anything? Like when would you do that?
Okay, so when my trade goes into profit, mostly I would say I'm holding for the rest of the day. My stop losses is very small, right? So I'm not going to put my stops to break. I don't got caught too many times doing that. I'm not putting my stops because I'm not afraid of my trade. Like I'm very confident in my positions. Okay, so I'm not closing my trade out at no break even. It's just I done been there too much. It messes up your RR. When you put your stops to break even too early, I say if you go 2R, you can do it. You go by 2R, you can do it, but 1R, I'm not doing it. 2 and above, I will, but 1R, I'm not doing it. Just to give you a concept of when I would do it, but not one. Yes. Yeah, my fault. Yeah, so I would do I would do a 2R, but 1 and above, one is not enough. Put it that way. 1 is not enough. Okay, we're gonna keep it simple. 1 is not enough. 2R, we put it at break even. Okay.
Yeah, that would make
Okay.
sense.
All right, so let's go because that means it have to break 2 structures to come back to your entry. That's why we say 2Rs. All right, so this was the level I was looking at around this range here, and this was what was this? This was Friday. Yeah, this was Friday. I'm going to 15-minute chart. Give me 1 second. Let me change this real quick. Because I wasn't using the 10. I don't think I was using 6. I was using 5, I think. Yeah. So this is what I was using here. And I seen price come back up into this range here. Back up here. And I took it between this range here. I was like, okay, we got this area here that need to be filled. And I was like, I'm gonna take this if it decide to start pulling down. And what I did was I drew a trend line from here. I'm just keeping it simple, guys. I'm not gonna go into depth on what because I got something to do. So we can do this on another video. But basically, this is what I did. I got in this position, I think a little late, like right here, and I put my stops up here, and I woke up and it was way down here.
That's mental.
Yeah, great.
That's a really good trade, right, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a brilliant trade.
yeah, and I think I had like about a 15, 20 pip stop loss. I had 2 entries, and I woke up, all my TPs was already hit. I think I had my like right here, and it was already hit. It was like a 1 to 7. It was something crazy. But the reason why I was able to do that because I understood where I was at in the market. Okay, I knew on the 4-hour we had already broke structure to the downside over here, as you can see, right? We broke this down structure here. This last lower high got broken here. Boom. We broke that level. So we know where we at now. We just broke this level here. Okay, let's go to the hour. What's going on in the hour? We're making lower lows. We're making lower lows. We're making lower lows. We're making lower lows. Boom. We broke this high. We're in the uptrend now on the hour. So that means we're coming back to test what? The POI on the 4-hour, somewhere on the 4-hour. And remember, I told you the 4-hour don't have to come way back up into this high up here. It don't have to come way up here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So we don't have to come at the, but there is a quasi here, but like that's not what I'm talking about right now. So I know you guys see the quasi, but so yeah, when you got if there is a quasi here, guys, like if it makes you your eyes better, you see the quasi here. But once again, the quasi happens only when a structure is broken. So even though I'm telling you guys it's a break of structure there, that is a quasi. Every time price breaks structure from the high to the low, when it breaks the lower high to the from the higher high, that is a quasi that is happening when it pulls back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Every
it
time,
is.
every time price breaks the lower high, it makes a quasi and it pulls back. That is always a quasi. Okay, so that kind of can help you guys understand what a quasi is and what you're looking for in a quasi.
Right, yeah. Actually, yeah, seeing it that way as well. You see the quasi a bit better.
Yes, if you just look at it as a break of structure from the lower high from that area there. Okay, so that was a break of structure. Now on the hour, what do we have another quasi happening here? Okay, which was what the last lower high getting broken here on the hour. Boom, price breaks this level. There was an entry here, but I didn't come to the market at this time. You see, there was an entry here that could have took it down that day, but the day I came in, it broke down again, and then it came back up to this level here. I know that we're in a downtrend. I know we're on a downtrend on the 4 hour, so the hour is just going back into the downtrend. Remember, I told you guys to line the time frames up. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
Okay, so what I did was I drew my trend line. Why? I don't draw my trend line all the time, but this specific time I drew my trend line because it suited how I needed to get in this trade. Okay, so I drew my trend line this specific time, but sometimes I would look for a break of structure. Sometimes I look for price to start breaking structure, because sometimes you know how sometimes there'll be like long wicks and you can't draw the trend line perfectly how you want to get the best entry.
Yeah,
You hear me?
that's true.
You guys see that sometimes. So now you got to learn how to adapt to what's going on and find another way to get in the market, which is breaker structures on a lower time frame and supply and demand zones. So as you can see, when price clears this level here, I get in this position. I think right here. I would have loved to get in here if I was at the market. I didn't see it there, and as you can see, it was a clean trade to the downside.
Why did you get in off that candle? Did you wait for a candle break? Or?
Okay, and the reason why I got in because I had a trend line break. One, we hit our potential entry area here. This area, this structure here, this order block area here. This is an hour order block here, or our supply and demand zone in this structure here. Because what happened? We had a bunch of candles pushed down here that broke the previous level here, which telling us we already know we're the downtrend on the hour because of this happened here. The quasi happening right here. Break, comes back, then we just going continuing in the downtrend. There was an entry here. Then price, what did price do? Price broke this level. Oh no, it didn't break this level. It came back to this level, but we know we still in the uptrend. I mean downtrend, because on the 4 hour we already in downtrend. All this consolidation, don't never let this confuse you, because you know where you at in the market. That's what I'm trying to teach you guys. Don't let this confuse you with all this consolidation here, because the 4 hour is still in a downtrend. Okay, and it shows you that. That's why I have the zigzag on the chart, and that's why I want you guys to put the zigzags on your chart, and I want you to put in a multi-time frame zigzag so you can see it directly on where price is at and where it's not. It's going to eventually be where you don't have to, you don't need it anymore to help your eyes to just go. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just to see breaks easily. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it does.
So when price comes back, you could have waited. If you guys was coming, like, okay, I'm a little nervous. You may not have the best stop loss, but you could have took, yes, and you had another trend line all the way across down here at the bottom. This is how she do it. She would have drew her trend line here, and she would have been getting in down here somewhere. Okay, same entry. She would probably had a small stop loss here, and it still would have went down. Okay, so there's multiple ways. There's not just one way. I'm giving you guys the way I do it, and of course, I'm going to say what she do. If she, show it to me, and I'm going to tell you guys what she's saying. But that trade I took there was a really good trade. Now, there is another way you could have got a trade. Let's just say you was a little nervous, you didn't know what to do. Well, when price broke this level here, you could have got in the trade. But guess where you would have had to put your stop loss? You would have had to put it up here. Why? Because that's the last lower high on the hour. It just broke the last hour structure. You had to put it there, and you would have been talking your P. You would have just got a 2%. It's not bad. It's just that sometimes people take trades like this and they're okay with it because they don't care about getting a big R. They just care about getting like 1 to 2%. If you're looking for 1-to-1s, 1-to-2s, you can do it that way too. It's not, you can get it on the break. You just know that you may go into some drawdown. It may pull back. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
Okay, so remember, 4 hour, the 4 hour, we always know the trend on the 4 hour. We always want to know what we had on the 4 hour. And sometimes the 4 hour, this is where I don't want you to get too, I don't want to get too in deep on it, but just basically the 4 hour and the hour is what you need to actually, make scalp the market, or not scalp. I say intraday trade, because the 4 hour and the hour is kind of like intraday for me, but the hour and the 5 and the 15 is for scalping. Okay.
Yep.
When you get to the 4 hours, it's kind of like you're trying to intraday trade mostly. So If you look at the 4 hour, just say you came to the market, you like, okay, well, on the 4 hour, what are we doing on the 4 hour? Let's move on stuff. And for next week, we just broke structure on the 4 hour right here. What do I expect? When I look to the left, the only structure is at the bottom down here. There's nothing here that could stop this price. But I know price like to pull back because breakout traders usually try to take this trade and continue down. But they could not. They could just continue down. But how do I know that? I'm gonna go to the hour. The hour broke down. I want to see if the hour start making higher highs and start pushing up. If price don't start pushing up, then it ain't finna go on no uptrend back to the uptrend. But that's how you know what price is going to do. I'm not taking no trade way down here because if I take a trade way down, I'm gonna have to put my stop loss way up here and then try to get to come down here. Does that make sense?
Yes, yeah.
So that's all you have to do. Wait for price to pull back because we in the 4 hour, we're in a downtrend still. The hour, we're in a downtrend still, but we have not. We just broke a significant level, and we always know price like to pull back. Price never just continue all the time. We can't. It's not a high probability of price just going to continue. It's more like a 75 to 80% price is always going to pull back. So let's bet on those odds that price is going to start consolidating back up, and then when we get a break back to the downside, there's a key area. When it breaks, you wait for the pullback to an order block area, maybe in the Asian range or whatever. We take that trade, and it's going to be a great trade. Okay. So I just gave you guys a setup that you guys could look for next week.
Sure.
All right, so I will do these calls again, because I know we've been missing for a minute. I know she's been talking to you guys a lot, but I've been missing. But I will start doing more calls with you guys just to get you guys to understand this, and we're gonna do like some back testing and some questioning. So I also want you guys to tell me what price going to do, because I want to know you guys are actually getting this, because once you get this concept, trading become a lot easier, and it kind of open your eyes to, okay, this is what I was missing.
Okay.
And that's going to be the end of this call. Right now, like I said, I have some things to do, but I want to thank you guys for getting on. I'm gonna let her get back on, and she's gonna send you guys off. All right.
Okay, no worries. Thanks.
That's great. Thanks very much for coming on.
All right, you guys. Did you guys have any other questions before we log off? I'm gonna try to get this recording to you guys today. Was there any questions?
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything right now, but I'll write in the group chat anyway when I come up with something. I've got a lot of charts to mark up now for tomorrow.
Yeah. We'll go through the videos once again.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions with
no, that's good. 4 hour,
Sure.
1 hour, and like M15 or something for entry. I'll try and use that. I'll post charts like mad on the group.
I know his way is a little different, but it's ain't near the same because it's still price action. Of course, everybody's entry could be slightly different.
Yeah.
Sure.
I would say we still trade.
Okay.
I'll have to get used to using trend lines a lot as well.
Yeah. Overall price action.
No problem. No, thanks very much for coming
Thanks
on.
a lot for that. And we'll go just over the video, do a lot of back testing.
Yeah.
And we'll catch up sometime.
Yeah, I've got a full day tomorrow back testing.
Yes, Jarrell said make sure that you put your zigzags on your chart. If you have trouble adding it, definitely reach out. We'll be glad to assist.
I've got the zigzags on here. I might actually put two, one for the 4 hour and one for the hour.
Yeah, that's how he likes to do it, like that. That helps him. I just need one with the chart. The chart shows me every time frame, how every time frame looks when I'm switching it. So I just like to use mine that way, so I don't have to have multiple on the screen. And then I'll draw my higher time frame trend lines on my higher time frame, and then just drop down. But yeah, to each his own, for sure. So yeah, that's a wrap. Thank you guys for coming. Sorry it was a little extended, but Jarrell
That's
always like
okay.
he always likes to meet with you guys when he can. But you guys have a good weekend and tear the
You
market up
too.
next week. All right.
You too. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thanks
You're
very much. It's been brilliant.
you're welcome. And then Jarrell said he's gonna start dropping more trade ideas. Me too, because I stopped doing that. I was giving y'all some gold trades, but I'm gonna start dropping them. I mean, my entries definitely is like when I tell you to get in, because mine are scalp trades. But we'll try to drop some trades for you guys this coming week and moving forward. But all right, I'm gonna end it there. Take care. See you
You too.
guys.
Okay.
Thanks very
Thank you,
much.
guys.
Enjoy the
Thanks a
rest of the
lot.
weekend. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye.